Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Hi.
Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
All the stars are right here.
Check it out.
It's Coco Joe.
Hey, this we get the plug.
What's up, it's Summer Walker.
Kendrick Lamar.
Hey, this is it.
Blazing the heat 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. That's right, the beautiful Las Vegas, and the weather looks phenomenal, man. We're having a great time. The weather feels great, and we're finally past all of that heat. So we made it, y'all. We outside. We made it. So listen, we want to talk some interesting information today. I wanted to come on live and discuss some of the interesting things. And first, we want to take a moment and just think about all of those who are dealing with the shutdown right now. And so we want to certainly give thought and let you know our prayers are with you all. We know they're asking you to go to work but not get paid and commit to the same work without a pay. And I know this should have been a payday last week because everybody's rent and mortgage is due. And so we're just hoping that the landlord has some understanding too. I hope, the matter of fact, I would hope that the eviction department is shut down too, so they can't even file papers, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, if they federal, shut it all down. Shut that down, because I can't pay if I can't get paid. So we certainly want to give big shouts out to you guys, man. We understand. And I mean, I can only imagine, you know, I have been in real estate for over 40 years, and I've had some months that, you know, didn't close any deals. And so, you know, I get it. I get it. So we just want to give, thought and a moment to what you all are going through and dealing with our federal government. Also, those of you who have equity in your home right now, this is a great time to utilize that equity and possibly, do a where you can take out money, and it's a home equity line of credit that will help you to be able to, get some funds and hold yourself over. It is a FICO requirement, right? You can't be more than 30 days past on your mortgage. And in some cases, there's some extenuating circumstances if in the event you do have one late out of 12 months. But don't hesitate to contact 702 349-0162. Greg Deville. I'm Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. We want to help many of you take advantage of investment opportunities. There are some investment opportunities that you can go after, such as using your equity that's in your home. Now, we're not talking about refinancing your home and getting the higher interest rate, because many of you during the low interest rate time did take advantage of the 4, the 3, and the 2%. If you're there, we're not talking about refinancing. We're not in that season, no so much of refinancing, but we are in a season where we can talk about home equity line of credit. So if you have above a 670, 680 FICO score, the opportunity to get some of your equity up to 80% of your value's equity, right? So what's going to happen, they're going to do an appraisal. The appraisal will in turn give value. We're going to do 80% of the value that you can qualify to do a home equity line of credit. Now, it's like a credit card. You will be able to use it as you see fit. You only pay for what you use. So if you use out of the 80%, let's say you get $90,000. If you only use 20 of it, you only pay for what you've used, which is 20%. However, it is at the current interest rate. So if the interest rate is at 6.25%, you will use $20,000 at 6.25% as payback. So we want to help many of you to take the opportunity that's available. Now, here's the time when we really want to share about having residual income. Because it's times like this, let's say the government shut down, but you have some residual income. Well, the advantage to that is you have the opportunity to still have an income when there is no income. When there's no incoming finances, you still have income investment opportunities. So many of you have, let's say, $200,000, $300,000 in equity. I recently sold a home. I got a home right now. They're going to have nearly $500,000 in equity, and that's because when you purchased a home and you have whatever that balance is for the mortgage versus what the values are today. So today, home prices are up. Although they're a little stagnant right now, however, because there are so many homes in the market. We're facing a foreclosure situation in our city. We're getting nearly 40, 50 a week notice of defaults of mortgages that are on the line for possibly foreclosure if they don't catch up the total balance. So I want to make sure that you all understand catching up with your balance is very important. Many times they don't want a portion of the rent when you're behind. They want the full balance. And I know sometimes that could be tough. If you can't meet the full balance, you were already behind and the government shut down, right? It puts you further behind. But many of you have equity in your home. So if you're feeling threatened by the foreclosure department, keep in mind, you can very well utilize up to 80%, or one of the other advantages, you may have to sell. Right. If many of you have more than 4 months delinquent, selling your home might be what's best to do. So want to keep that in mind for you guys to don't stress out if you don't see an avenue of getting out of what you're in. Right. There's a way. Again, many families. I've been looking at homes. I go down to the auctions and I'm seeing homes, and when I pull up the value, they just lost $150,000 in equity. Because they sit and wait, and then you wait too long, and next thing you know, there's a sale date. So let me help you avoid the sale date, and let's do what is termed a pre-foreclosure sale. Now, in that sense, there's no upfront costs out of pocket. I mean, why lose the home, right? If you know you can't catch up, then you stay there as long as you can. Then eventually they sell it on the auction block because you failed to read your mail. So as I tell many people, if you know you're past 3 to 4 months in your mortgage, make sure you're reading your mail. I know you don't want any more bad news. You're already living and dealing with that. But the worst news would be that they have a sale date that you're unaware of. And that foreclosure sale date will creep up on you. Now, if we can catch it early, we could do a postponement of sale in many cases. And that's where your realtor comes in. That's where I come in to help facilitate getting that postponement to sell it and get your equity now. Now, if the bank's foreclosure on your home and you get the equity, you can best believe there may be equity. It may take 7, 8 months to a year to receive the balance. At the end of the day, we don't know what they sold it for, right? We weren't there at the auction to know. So I'm saying, why wait for them to go through the slow process? Because it may not even sell at the auction. One of the things we've been seeing is that homes are going and are not selling at the auction. Because even the investors are looking for deals. Even the investors are looking for great opportunities. So if a home goes up and too many bidders, then investors don't want to pay more. So sometimes it goes back to the bank and then it sits on this long. And then you've heard homes being vacant for over a year and a half because it didn't sell at the auction. And so they just sit on a portfolio file, waiting till the bank gets to it because there's so many homes ahead of it that it may take a year. So in that case, many people have stayed in their home a year and a half, 2 years without a payment. But the smart thing is if you don't have a payment, save that money because one day you got to go. And so they're not doing as much as they were before during the crisis where they were giving relocation funds. That means they were giving you $35,000 to $5,000. One gentleman, he got $10,000 to relocate. The bank just wanted the property back, leave it in good condition. But now I want to talk to you guys because if you've been living in your home over 4 or 5 years, you may have a decent amount of equity in that home. If that's the case, I want to hear from you. 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, the name you need to know right here in the Valley. It's what I've been doing in Vegas for over 20 years. And so I'm not stopping now. We've been very helpful and useful. I want to continue to get the opportunity to serve the community, but I can't do it without the contact directly from you to tell me we want help. Or if it's a loved one and you want to refer them to me. You've been hearing me on radio. I've been radio now 10 years, thank God. It's been wonderful, a wonderful ride. We've helped countless numbers of families. In fact, the other day I ran into a gentleman and he said, Greg Deville. And I said, hey, man, how you doing? I said, where did we meet? He says, well, we never personally met. He said, but your team helped me buy my home. And so shout out to Team Deville. They're getting things done. They're working hard to diligently get property sold, purchased, and help people out of foreclosures. Now, there are some times I'm seeing where people are dying intestate, which means dying without a will or a living trust. But even with the dying with a will, still will allow you to have to go to court to deal with that property. So I was talking to a gentleman yesterday. Mom passed away, didn't have the paperwork in order. So what happened from there? Well, unfortunately, as I mentioned to him, it will have to go to probate. So even though he's on the land, quit claimed on the deed, the financing is still a problem because the financing is in John Brown's name, right? So nobody can sign John Brown's name. That's why it becomes a court matter. That's why, it's very important that we put our property in a living trust. Because the living trust is read by the attorney at the time of that they expire, right? And so now the lawyer reads, well, so-and-so gets the car, so-and-so gets the bank account. And however you want to disperse after you're gone, you write that in a living trust. Now, there are lawyers, and I pay dearly for one to be done, but now I have to go out and add and, I got a revocable, right? So you can add and subtract and whatever changes are necessary because our life has changes, right? And so being that we make changes in our lives, we have to go back and revise, sometimes undo, so that we can make it current. So if that's the case, again, there are forms you can get. You can do a package yourself on a living trust, not to take anything from attorneys. And then once you do the package, let's say you go and get the package or you go online, you say, how do I form my own living trust? And do it online. And I'm sure there's instructions and everything like that, but you will, once completed, have to have it notarized and take it to file it with the county recorder's office. So that way it's a record of it. right? It's filed and recorded. So this is the kind of stuff the Deville show, the wealth building concept for my show is helping you build wealth. And it's not always financial, right? Sometimes it could very well just be information. That's a wealth of knowledge. Something nobody just go out and tell you. And I've been here on radio going on 10 years now, just telling people, look, get the opportunity of what's available to you. Let's not sleep on it, because at the end of the day, something's going to happen. I mean, we're all one day have an expiration date, but did we get our affairs in order? Is everything in order? I mean, that's very important, because again, now you're going to be talking more expenses. If you don't take the time now to do it, they're going to be more expenses your family will have to deal with, such as, again, probate court, realtor fees, title fees. There's so many things that become involved when you don't have a living trust. So wanted to make mention of that so many of you can take the opportunity to do what you need to do. We just don't know, right? We living in crazy times. We pray we all live to be 110, right? But in the meantime, while we're working on that 110, let's have our affairs in order. Let's have our living trust in place. Let's have some real estate. Let's have a portfolio. Let's be able to say we can save money. We've invested our income. We have income, residual income, right? We want all of that. But unless somebody gives us a platform, an avenue, or some information on how to do that, and that's what my show has been dedicated, is to helping you think about residual income, right? How do we do that? Passive income. How do we do that? What does that look like? So that's why I want you to give me a call. Let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and make clear so that we have a plan. But if you don't have real estate, then guess what? There's nothing that you can really leave other than a car, some clothes, couple watches. You know, real estate by far is one of your greatest investments. Why do I say one of your greatest? Because you sleep in real estate every night. You sleep in a home, apartment, or whatever it might be. That's your greatest asset. Do you own the spot where you lie your head at night? Do you literally own that space? Is that a space that you say, I've been paying this man's mortgage and now he wants to sell it? How many calls have I gotten? Well, Mr. Deville, I've got a lady approved. Didn't know. It's funny because many of you guys don't even know you qualify until a situation puts you in position, such as the landlord is selling the property. And now you have to go. But what did that do? That made her have to call Deville. She heard the show. In fact, it wasn't her first time hearing the show. Just we get comfortable in where we are, and we don't tend to make a move sometimes because we're comfortable. Until we're uncomfortable, then now we want to say, let's go ahead and consider. I'm asking you right now, before you sign another lease, before you do another rental application, before you get involved in searching for another rental property, I'm asking you to contact me directly and let us do an application. Not me, not my company, but let me set you with there's a few lenders we work with. See if we can get you qualified for. And then she qualified for the no money down program. These are things you'd be surprised. You could have been qualifying all this time. I meet veterans. Thank you guys. Appreciate you veterans. But I meet veterans who are still renting who thought because they used their benefits in the past, they can't use them again. Let me say, that is a myth that is so incorrect. That people have been going around, you can only use it once. Don't let nobody tell you that. Tell them Greg Deville said, and I could beg to differ because I've done it. I've gotten people who thought they used it and didn't have an opportunity again. We were able to reinstate their DD-214. We were able to get them back into property, even though they used it before. And I've gotten people who've been foreclosed on before. People who short sold their homes, who did a deed in lieu, which means you gave the keys back and walked away. I've seen every scenario in my course of 20 years in real estate that we've been able to get you into a home, even as a veteran. And they've got one of the lowest score programs out there. We can get a veteran literally without a score, but we want you to at least have a 560, right? 560, 580. Well, that means we want to see a track record of some history that you've paid. Right? Then we'll get a landlord, a referral from the landlord. We could make a credit score, right? We could take a phone bill and see that you've been paying it on time for 5 years. We get rental history, and make a credit through your insurance. We know everybody's paying auto. Well, everybody should be paying auto insurance if you got a car. But we could build a profile for credit. So don't just say I don't qualify, because it's never no. It's just not right now, right? My good friend Alicia Taylor and I always talk, and we make sure we share that on each of our talk shows, whatever podcast we're doing, is we're letting people know it's never no. It's just not right now. That was me. You know, I'm going 10 years into my home. And I'll tell you, when I first qualified back in 2015, Taylor threw the file. Deville, you're not ready. You're just not ready. We laugh about it. You know, we were laughing because, I'm like, all right, Taylor, so what do I need to do? What is the game plan? She said, okay, here's what I want you to do. And she gave me she structured it out, gave me a game plan. And guess what? With the game plan, man, I'm 10 years in with a great amount of equity in the home. So with that being said, we were able to refinance, and I got it originally in 2016 because I didn't qualify in 2015. I had some things I had to do, right? She gave me this, I like to call it a prescription. Use this prescription for 7 days. She told me 90 days, Deville, you could be good to go. The 94th day, I contacted her. She went back into the system, and guess what? Approved. If you follow the plan will get it built. The plan will get it done. Whatever you got to do, whatever that plan looks like. And recently I had to send her to the credit restoration, Mike. Why? Because they needed a little more help. And so whatever you need, we want to answer the call. Now, understand this. We're in the fourth quarter of the year. What are you going to do in the fourth that's going to win the game? Because most games, Asia Wilson just won the fourth quarter, the last few seconds of the game. Don't wait till the last few seconds. Let's do it now. Contact me now. 702-349-0162. Blow it out. It's tight right now. Things are tight. And guess what? If you're a veteran, no money out of pocket. If you're a first-time buyer and haven't owned in the last 3 years, you in the game. Make the shot. Make the call. Contact me. I want to hear from you so we can make this game one in the fourth. Now, I hear a lot of people say, I want to wait till next year. Why wait? We don't know what next year. I know it's crazy now. We don't know what next year you're going to do. It's crazy now, but still people are buying. People say, I don't know if I want to. Okay, keep paying the landlord. And then when he say, I'm going to sell the house, now you pressed. You're under the gun, if you will, because now he's selling the house. Now you got to find a place to go because he's selling. Now, let me just say this. Sometimes you can buy the home. Now, how many times have I done that? Sold the home that you've been renting because the landlord decided to sell. So if you've been living there a while and you know to contact your landlord, he said he's thinking about selling, then you need to contact a realtor. That's Greg Deville. So what can I do for you? I'm going to be able to help you get qualified. I'm going to find some no money programs, and I'm going to work on getting your closing costs covered. These are things that Greg Deville, I do to help you get in the house if it's the one you live in currently. How many homes have I sold to people who've been renting their homes? Say, Deville, I've been hearing your show, man, and my landlord is looking to sell. How can I? So then I'm gonna need the landlord's number so that we can converse on what does it look like, what does the number need to be. Then I'm gonna set you with a lender and say, hey, is it possible to get this number? Is it possible to get this amount that we need for the down payment? And so we're going to do that first. And again, veterans, you guys are really in good position. If you used it in the past, if you guys know a veteran, because my business has really been a referral business. And so I want to take a moment to thank so many of you that has helped Deville, helped my team, helped my company be the largest black real estate firm in the state of Nevada. That's exciting. I'm so honored to be the one that fell upon. And it's all because of you guys. It's because you guys have reached out to me and told your friends and your family and your frenemies. That's right. I've had some people say that we ain't real cool, but I still wanted them to know we used to be cool, right? But again, tell whomever. This email, I just got this email in my brain, right? So this email came, those of you who have grandparents who are renting, and grandpa was a veteran, and grandma was married to grandpa when he passed. Grandma, in many cases, can get a house with no money down by simply using grandpa's DD 214. We have to review it. We have to see, is she eligible? Is there what's the income right now for her? But I've seen many families who grandma was able to qualify and was paying rent, and she was able to get her own little house, right? I mean, nice home, not just. I mean, grandmas be living in apartments, and grandpa was a veteran, only because we didn't know. And that's why the Greg Deville Wealth Building Show is so powerful to so many people, because it gives information that you didn't know. And this isn't new information. We just weren't privy to information until God gave me this avenue about radio to take what I know on the radio. They asked me when I first came on radio nearly 10 years ago, were you looking to do a commercial? I'm like, how long is a commercial? They said 30 seconds. I'm like, well, what I got to say going to take longer than 30 seconds. I couldn't imagine with all the information that I have in my peanut brain. I'm thinking, what am I saying 30 seconds that's going to really be powerful? I'm not doing a commercial for a quick event. I needed to educate. And she said, well, we do have 30-minute talk shows. I thought, okay, now we're talking about something. And so let me say, since 2016, I've been on radio, and I have been having my 30-minute talk shows. And I'm telling you, it has blown up. It has made my name great in the community. And I worked very hard to help so many. But it's been mostly referral business, because they hear me on the radio. And they say, a lot of parents tell their children, now, if you're out of college, you've been working at least 2 years on the job, you can qualify to get into homeownership, because the requirements are 2 years on the job minimal. FICO score for the program is a minimal 620. Now, if you have a 401k on the job, you can get it with up to a 580 credit score. But you need to have 2 years on the job, your 2 months bank statement, and your tax return for the past 2 years. So these are things that we need to have in line so that you can qualify for home ownership. Okay, but I want to hear from you. Don't say what you don't qualify for. I got a lady right now. She is 2 months from being 2 years. And what they're trying to do is say, well, what was your previous job before you got this job? Because the advantage to that is they can use the history from the previous job. And so sometimes it'll boost that 2 years that you need. I know you were living in Chicago and you were working there, and let's say you were a nurse, and now you're still in the medical, or you're doing something in public relations. Guess what? We could give you the credit from the Chicago. And that'll help get you where you need to be, because you have the work history, maybe not the same, location of work, but the same history of work. And so we're working off the history of your work. Isn't that great? I'm telling you, this is good stuff. I'm so happy to be able to share with so many of you guys information that can help you. Stop paying the landlord's rent. Stop giving up money. And then when they sell, guess why? Because you've already paid you've been there 5 years. You paid a good substantial amount down on their principal. So now they're walking away with a great equity, which could be 80 to 120,000. And what are you going to walk away with? That security deposit you gave 5 years ago. And probably less. So if you gave, let's say, 2,000, when you leave, you'll get about 16 to 1,700 in 5 years. Your money didn't make any money, but your money did make money for him. So I'm laughing, man, because it's crazy. And if you've been hearing me talk about it, and you still continue, that's crazy business, bro. I don't get that, but. Again, I'm going to wait till you figure it out. I'm going to wait till you feel good about it. I'm going to wait till you say next year, and just keep paying the man's mortgage. At the end of the day, I got love for you, and I'm just giving you what God loves, and that's the truth. The truth is you're paying off the man's mortgage. He goes out, and then they go up on the rent. Did you know when you have a mortgage, your mortgage stays the same for 30 years? Your mortgage doesn't increase, decrease. It remains the same, because you're on a fixed rate. Yeah, so what? Interest rates are a little high. Interest rates are 6.5. The programs are 7. So if you use my no money down program, it's 7%. But guess what? There's no money out of pocket. And then I'm going to help get your closing costs. So literally, you're going to come in the house with at least this. I've had people get into a home with no money. And the $1,000 they put up in escrow, they got that back. So they literally got a house with no money out of pocket. You want to be one of those? Well, you simply got to qualify. How do you get qualified? Text me the word buy at 702-349-0162. Text the word buy, and I will text you to contact the lender, or you can go to your bank. Not all banks or lenders are qualified to work with DPA programs. DPA is down payment programs, down payment assistance. Not every bank's qualified. Not every lender's qualified. So we have qualified lenders at Deville Realty that we've used for years. These aren't fly-by-nights. These have been proven lenders. Some have been put on timeout. Some have been released from working with Deville. Nonetheless, we're here. We're staying afloat. We're using qualified people. No shady business. We're not overly anxious to close a deal. Listen, we've been great money managers, and we learn how to manage and maintain so that if a deal doesn't close, guess what? We're gonna be all right. Right? Because we're continuing to help. And what I'm learning about life is the more you help, the more help comes back to you. The more you give, the greater the gift back to you. So I'm going to continue what I've been doing and helping so many and doing what I love. What's amazing is I do what I love and I get paid well for it. But just to know you're helping families, and when I meet somebody in Home Depot, meet somebody at wherever I'm out, right? And they say, I bought you my home, man. You helped me get my house. I'm like, man, that's amazing. And granted, I don't know everybody we help at Deville Realty because we're a team, right? Team Deville. Shout out again to Team Deville, man. They're getting it done. And so with that, we want to continue to do what we're doing, but we can't do it without your help. We can't do it without your referral business. And we appreciate you. Now, there are many churches out there who your membership. Now, we can't give what is termed kickback. Oh, I'm going to send a referral. I'm going to need a kick. Against the law. Don't make me break the law. I'm not going to do that. It's against the law to give a kickback for you referring. But we will give 10% to your nonprofit of choice. We can do that legally. So you have your church. You want to give 10% of the proceeds from the commission of the sale. We'll give it back to your church. And to churches that have prospective buyers, we'll give 10% back to the church to thank you for allowing us to come into your services, come into your church, and have a moment to share with people. Because there are many people who qualify right now that are not aware. They qualify. They just, I'm telling you, the lady called me last week, a week or two, and said the house had a flood. So the insurance paid for her to stay somewhere. She was a tenant. She had rentals insurance. And so she's out while they're fixing the home. But then the landlord reached out and says, well, when I finish the home, I'm selling the home. So now she's not only out, but she's out. As comfortable as she was in that rental. But you know what that caused her to do? She happened to remember the show. And then I came on that Saturday morning. She was listening and she said, look at God, won't he do it? She said, this is my situation. I've been hearing you for years, but now it came full circle. Now I need to be able to look at qualifying to move. She said, I really don't want to rent again. And guess what? She got qualified. Man, thank God for the opportunity to be on the air, to tell people what's available, and to get approved. Wasn't thinking about buying, but a situation put her into the position to have to inquire about purchasing. And guess what? Now we're looking for homes. Now we found properties that are actually in her line of what she wants. She wants single story. We found a couple that are in the community of where she wants to be. And so we'll be writing an offer in the next day or two. Guess what? Close it in 30 days. So she's had to move in with a loved one because at the same time, the landlord is not allowing them to move back because he's going to sell. So I want to ask many of you that before your lease expires, let's talk about some possibilities of hope in your purchasing. Let's talk about some of the things that may be available. All right. So again, before I go, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. I want to thank so many of you for the referral business. Thank you again for mentioning Greg Deville when you hear about somebody talk about buying, selling, or investing, because that's what I love to do. I love to help people make quality, wise moves with great income, great information that can help you better in your life. We call the wealth builder. Let's show you how to build wealth using the equity in your home. I mean, it's funny because I did see a lady use her equity and purchased a new truck. And I thought, well, okay, but it didn't make any money. She paid cash for the truck, but took the equity out the house versus like Rich Dad, Poor Dad said, well, versus you buying the new Mercedes, how about you put that $60,000 on a fourplex apartment building and let the apartment, one of the units, pay the car note? So you're not paying it out of pocket. You made an investment that's going to make an investment back towards what you're looking forward to receiving. So these are kind of things that we like to show you how to do it. So if you got more questions, need more information, contact me direct, 702-349-0162. 0162. You can find me on all platforms at Greg Deville. Again, DevilleRealty@gmail.com. So Google Greg Deville. So I'm everywhere. I want to hear from you. I'm so excited on this beautiful Wednesday. It's a great sunshiny day. Blue skies are out. And boy, it is absolutely gorgeous outside. So if you haven't gone outside today, it's funny because it rained last night, but the rain pushes the storm and pushes the clouds away. So it gives us a brighter day. So the brighter day for you is, let's get into real estate. Let's get into investments. Let's get into residual income. Let's get into passive income. Let's find ourselves making wise moves in this fourth quarter of the year. Games are won in the fourth. Let's find out if you qualify. Maybe you do, like the lady who never even thought she did. Been hearing the show for years. Didn't even know she qualified. And to top it off, she qualified for the No Money Down program. So she's going to literally get the house with no money down, closing costs covered, because I'm a master negotiator. Going to negotiate her closing costs. So literally no money out of pocket. You're next in line. How about that? 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. Well, everybody, that's all. My show is over for the day. I've had a great time. Hope I've given some information to help you get where you need to be. Don't just let that mortgage get paid by you for them. Let me help you pay your own mortgage. Get you in a fixed rate, no more increase. And then we're going to top it off. We're going to get solar installed on your home. No money out of pocket. So you're going to get a home with no money out of pocket. You're going to get solar. Why? Because renewable energy is big in Vegas. We get more sun than almost any other state. And so right now, let's capitalize. I haven't got a power bill in 2 years having solar on my home. And I got a 3,000 high ceiling roof ceiling home. At the end of the day, I'm using renewable, and I want to show you guys. I own a home, so let me help you own a home. I own solar. Let me help you own solar. No more power bills. Let's do away with all of that. No more rent. No more renting NV Energy Power. So here's what you're going to do before I go. We're going to get in a position to fire the landlord and fire NV Energy. All right? More contact information can be found at 702-349-0162. Until I talk to you next time, Las Vegas, I ask you to have a great week. And until then, may God's best be yours. Take care.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying.